Right, so this is basically something. Oh, bugger. Bottomry. This is basically just a little prototype that I'm doing for the recording of gameplay. So as you can see, we're talking dragon flight expansion here, and I'm flying around on my flying mount. That's right, they introduced regular flying mounts after a while. Because it started to be a pain in the ass to just use the dragon flying mounts when you want to be really precise and accurate. So right, I'm trying my best to help out this bunch of centaurs, much more attractive ones than the ones we saw back in the Eastern Kingdoms, I believe. I can't quite remember where we saw them, but no, it was Maraudon, yeah. So I'm trying to help these guys out. They are very, shamanistic. They talk about helping the land, etc., etc. Basically, more agreeable night elves. Let's see. I still haven't discovered all the flight route. This is a new character. It's a mecha gnome hunter that I created, and it's one that I'm trying to level up to max level, so I can then move on back to playing Shadowlands, which I thought was a brilliant expansion. And in Shadowlands, you can choose one of 4 different covenants, so one of 4 different factions to join. I've already covered one of them, the one I like the most, probably Maldraxxus. This guy is going to join the Curians of Bastion because he's a mechanome, and the Curians have technology, sort of his thing. Mm. And I'm curious to see if there are any specific, quest lines for that covenant, as I'm suspecting that there are at least some differences between the different ones. So I'm basically, going through this whole thing on road now because this is something like the 7th or 8th character I've actually leveled to max level. So, I'm not really spending any time reading quest text or whatever. I'm just skipping past it because I know what the different quests are about. Usually I actually am very careful to read quest text. Let's see here. Oh, right. I'm very careful to read quest text because I want to know what's going on with the different characters, and if you don't read the quest text properly, I've found that, I can't keep the names straight of different characters, so I'm trying to, see which characters am I supposed to be remembering. And my memory isn't all that great, but I do see particular names, and we're not just talking the big dragons. I mean, I do know who Caligos is and Alexstrasza and whatnot, but we're also talking, the person that you interact the most with in this particular area is probably Scout Tomul, who's one of the main characters of the faction that I'm helping now. The good guy parts of the Centaur faction, that is not the No Cood, who are just, they're dicks. I mean, we're not just talking that they are, oh, they want to fight, they are all about honor. No, they are dickheads. They are absolute cunts. I can't stand them. You're supposed to, early on, do an introductory quest with them where you fight a bunch of their warriors. And when you handily beat every single one, they like have these whiny excuses. They go like, "Oh, I don't have time for you," or "Oh, you're just a weakling." which they say right after I beat the living shit out of them. There you go. They're just whiners and betrayers, and I don't like it when people betray dragonflights. Sort of not my thing. No matter which character I'm playing as, I'm sort of a soft role player. Here, usually, I tend to do all the quests, but not all the time. When I'm playing like a druid, I don't like to do the quests for mostly goblins who want to absolutely screw up nature. They just want to dig everything up to make money. I usually skip those as long as they're not absolutely crucial to keeping track and following the main story. Here we see we're killing some kind of enemies. I'm not sure. I think they've been somehow taken over by some kind of evil artifact, but I don't know anything more specific than that. And there are a couple of quests like that in Dragonflight where there are some old relics, and there's probably going to be a lot of that old magical relics because we're talking a place where the dragons held sway in what they called their home 10,000 years ago and more, because this was quite a long time before the Sundering. For those who don't know what the Sundering is, you're not actually World of Warcraft players, so you probably won't be that interested in knowing what it is. That's screw it. It's when the world broke. About 10,000 years ago, the big bad evil demons invaded, and that ended with them being thrown out and the entire world breaking into a bunch of pieces. And the Dragon Isles is something that I believe was a separate continent even before. The main ones are, of course, Eastern Kingdoms, that which was once called Azeroth and Lordaeron, but now they've taken to calling the entire world Azeroth. And Kalimdor, which was called Kalimdor and is still called Kalimdor, I suppose. Oh, bugger. I'm going to cut it short here because, as I said, this is basically just a small improvised prototype that I do intend to actually upload. Probably sounds like shit and probably looks like shit, but you know, some people like shit. So, toodles.